congratulations on the Super Bowl of British film. It's so great to be here. What has been inspiring for you about going through the process of looking at all of these wonderful films and all of the technical abilities that have gone into making them?
I think the extraordinary range and breadth, and also I think particularly this year feels like a real triumph for cinema. You know, these are big stories, a lot of them, told in exciting and bold ways. When you look at Sinners, when you look at One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, these are exciting roller coaster rides of films that deserve to be seen on the big screen. So I think the technical ability, not always for enormous budgets, used to create films like that, combined with then those smaller independent films like I Swear, that tell an incredibly important story, a story that makes you laugh, makes you cry, but I think most importantly helps you to understand a little bit more.
And BAFTA has some awards here today for some of the costume and design and production design, and recognises all of the skills and talents that it takes into making these productions what they are. And casting, which is fantastic. So how has your appreciation of that changed across the years? Because that used to be the invisible part and now it's becoming more visible for us.
I think it's really important that we do acknowledge and celebrate the talent behind the camera, because, you know, filmmaking is such a collaborative process. You know, if you are a writer and you write a novel, you can do it alone to a great extent, but if you want to make a film, oftentimes you need a real team around you. So to see the acknowledgement of those films, some of which are not getting perhaps nominations in other areas, but like Train Dreams being nominated for cinematography, that is great. And I think, again, maybe for people sitting at home or reading about it, it might let them believe that it's something they could do one day. That to enter the film industry, it's not just about being an actor, a writer or a director. You can be a cinematographer, you can be a hair and makeup designer. All of those careers are open to you.
And we're seeing some fabulous news stories coming from different countries into the awards. How much do you appreciate being able to lift up those voices and acknowledge some of these wonderful stories that we wouldn't otherwise get to know about?
I think that's, you know, incredibly important, and what is fantastic is that I think the BAFTAs has a truly British flavour, but also is very part of an international market of filmmaking, American but also European. And when you look at a film like Sentimental Value, and how well that's doing on the circuit at the moment, and how that tells a story in a very particular, much more sort of Scandinavian way, I think it culturally enriches us all to have all of those stories.
And just to pick on one British film, I Swear, that you mentioned before, incredible film made with a very small budget. For me, it's not just telling a story, it's also something of a social movement as well, because the understanding of Tourette's has increased quite dramatically through that story and through people seeing that and understanding it.
I completely agree, and I think it's got a very important message, and I think films generally that increase our understanding of communities, of worlds, of lives we know nothing of are very important, particularly in a confused and confusing and fragmented world.
And finally, BAFTA is a wonderful organisation. What do you think makes it distinctive across, as opposed to some of the ones in other countries, and in the way it supports films and filmmakers?
I think it is having that sort of charitable mission at its core, which is to, you know, celebrate, inspire, support filmmakers and their stories. And to have events like this, which are our showcase to the world, is fantastic, and it's a brilliant, glamorous weekend. But the charitable work goes on all year round. The bursaries, the talent support programs, etc. That's the core of what we do. We couldn't do it without these awards, you know, giving us that profile and, you know, also being income generators for us. But BAFTA is a year-round enterprise, and I think its many, many faceted work is what makes it unique.
Well, I know this is your last year, so congratulations on everything you've done, and I hope you enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much.
So Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys! say. That's what they all say. Hey, you guys!
Hey,